It's Kate Bolt, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the UK. I'm back for another Fun Friday Live. Good morning to you. I hope you're well. I will wait a few moments, see if anybody hops on live with me, and then we'll have a bit of fun crafting this morning. In the meantime, I've got my coffee, got my Disney mug, I'm all set. Let's just wait a moment, have a little drink, close the door after the dog yet again. He lets himself in, can't close the door after himself. So, good morning. I don't have my laptop set up, unfortunately, so I will try and see any comments that come in if anybody joins me live. It is such a beautiful day here, and I wanted to share something a little bit different with you this morning. So, I will just hold on a second, have another drink. Well, that is good. Okay. Hello, Sherry. Good morning. Thank you for joining me. How are you? I hope you're well. I hope you are well. So I've had a couple of requests to do a scrapbook layout. Now, I don't know about everyone else out there who's watching, but my crafting journey began many years ago. My paper crafting journey began many years ago with scrapbooking, and I did a lot of it back in the day and absolutely loved it. It's where my heart is, to be fair. I absolutely love a scrapbook page. I also love my card making too, but I often try and get back to my scrapbooking. I don't do it as much as I should. Good morning, Inika. Oh, yeah, I'm glad you're well. So I'm absolutely brilliant. I've just been out for a lovely long walk around both the lakes where I live with the dog, and it's glorious. And I saw some ducklings, and we have a terrapin that hangs out on a tree over the lake, which is hilarious. Loads of wildlife, and the dog met some doggy friends. Yeah, I'm well. I'm very well. So my scrapbooking story thing is that I'm definitely trying to do more and incorporate more scrapbooking into my crafting, because I love documenting my stories and I love going back through my scrapbooks and seeing everything that I've done and creating all those memories. And it's amazing just to look at the different things you've done in it. Well, if you scrapbook it and write down all the little details, then when you go back, it prompts the memories. Otherwise, they just get lost, don't they? So I thought today, now I'm very rusty scrapbooker. I do it occasionally and I really want to do more. So I thought today I'd try and do a layout with you, or as much of a layout as I can manage in the time that we've got. And I'll show you how I do it. Now, it's all pretty much the same as card making. It's cutting up bits of paper and sticking them back together to make something beautiful. So there's no difference. So I'm going to show you a scrapbook layout I made this week. I'm not making this one live with you, but this is the one I made this week. Hello, Amanda. I don't have my laptop, so I only just see in the tripod your comments. I think you said it's a bit cloudy there. Well, I hope it's nice. I hope it's not cold. So I made this scrapbook page this week, but I was really stuck for inspiration to get those creative juices flowing. So I went onto YouTube and I went through lots of scrapbooking videos, and somebody shared a video of 137 layouts that they made. It was Paige Evans. I know. I hope Shaz joins us. Shaz has been asking. Actually, she's one who's been asking, and so I was looking at her pages layouts, and I was looking at a few different people's layouts, and I was trying to get inspiration to get started. I came across one that Paige had done, and she'd done one. It was very similar. It wasn't the same. It was a different theme, but the idea of her punching out hearts is from her page. So I thought I would have a go and see how it turned out. So I punched out all of these hearts using an old retired heart punch from Stampin' Up, because we don't have a heart punch right now. And very simply, I put each one into my scoreboard, my Stampin' Up scoreboard, and found out where the center was on my scoreboard very easily by showing it to like an inch point. And then at equal measurements from either end, I scored. And then I put them all down, and then I just put a glue dot behind, and I think you get this really cute, effective thing. I'm going to try and move my camera so I can see your comments. You took your 3 cats to the vets. That's all I've got. Did you say one of them escaped while they were on the way to the vet? Did I see that? I hope not. Tell us again. Tell us what's the story. See, that would be a great scrapbook story. Not so fun if your cat's running around, but it would make a great story later on. I hope your cat's okay. So I actually didn't choose the photograph before. Now, I get the photographs I'd like to scrapbook, and then I make my layout. But this week, I just wanted to make a layout and get going. So it was kind of like I chose the photo afterwards. So I got all these beautiful papers, punched them out, did the whole thing. Then I chose one from the collection that was fairly neutral. And I wanted it to pop a little, and I wanted the blues to come out. So I cut a little bit off the edges and made it. You caught your cat that escaped while you were going to the vet, Inika. Oh my word. And I laid it on a piece of 12 by 12 balmy blue cardstock. Now you may or may not be aware that Stampin' Up! Do the colour collections of cardstock in 12 by 12. Specifically for scrapbooking. So, well, not, for everything. You might want it for box making, but it's perfect for scrapbooking, obviously. So I mounted it on the blue, and then I went to look for my photos. Now I'm currently scrapbooking a trip that we took last spring to California and Yosemite and all sorts of places. But my kind of photos were not going to fit with all these cutesy hearts, if you can see what I mean. So I went into my stash of old photographs, and I found this gorgeous photographs of my son. He's like 21 now. And we were at a festival, and he got all his ice cream, and he was living his best life. So I thought I'd scrapbook that, and I matted the photo, literally all I did, in one of the coordinating pieces of paper. Yeah. I made a little tag to go behind. It's going to have I written on it yet? Not yet. It's going to have all the writing on it about the day and what we were doing, because that's the whole point of the scrapbook, right? The journaling is super important, and we need to know who it was, where it was, why it was, when it was. So that's the tag where the journaling is going to go instead of like a journaling spot. I used the large letter dies that have now retired, but they're Stampin' Up! Ones. And this is from the Sweetest Cherry set. That's current, this stamp. I've got to see, was it called Sweetest Cherries? So this word is from here. And I literally heat embossed it in white embossing on Granny Apple Green cardstock. And I used basic white and Granny Apple Green for the boy. And this is a really old ice cream die set from Stampin' Up! Thank you, Inika. That's really kind of you. It's a really old set. I don't have the new set. I'm not sure if it's on my order that's coming next week, or it's going to go on my next order, because I like it. It's got lots of beautiful sundaes, and it's called milkshakes or something, and I'm going to get that one. But this is the old one that I already have. We've got to use what we've got, don't we, guys? So I used it. Now, the papers I've used are retired. We've just changed over the catalogue, and I've got a really limited palette of what I've got so far, because all the papers I've bought so far, apart from a little bit, I've used in my April customer class and the one I did last night, which was my May customer class, and live streams and projects and things like that. So I've got a limited amount of DSP. So I went back through my stash, and do you remember this gorgeous paper we got in Celebration? This big pack. It's 48 sheets called Dandy Designs. Absolutely stunning. And I got it for scrapbooking. So that is what I used. So, use up your design series papers, peeps. So just to show you what I used to make this. But we do have a really nice big pack of pattern papers in the catalogue that come next week I'm going to be ordering, because we have a DSP sale starting on the 1st of June. So I should be putting that up in the next day or so on my Facebook page and things like that, so you can see on my Instagram what all that's about. But it's 15% off selected DSP across the annual catalogue. I don't think it's all of it, but a lot of it. So that big lovely pack that's in the new catalogue, I'm going to get for scrapbooking. And maybe I'll do another layout like this. I'm just looking to see what I did with it. Here it is. Hi, Shaz. I'm showing off the layout I did this week. Let me find the papers I'm talking about in the catalogue. So this is where our designer series papers are in the new catalogue on page 128 onwards. And this is the new big pack that we have. It's called Delightfully Eclectic, and it has all these great colours in it. Even has like little word tiles, which would be great. And you get 48 sheets of 12 by 12 for £28, which I think is brilliant. The quality is incredible. So we have a DSP sale starting next week from the 1st of June. And I know this is in it, 15% off. So I'm going to be popping my order in and getting some and some others for scrapbooking and card making. So in the meantime, I used the last year's Dandy Designs, and that was how I made this lovely layout that's going to go in my, I have an album that is just for layouts of, you know, the kids when they were growing up, not particularly this year or that year. So yeah, that's going in that album. Yeah, Shaz, this video is made for you. So this is the one. Now, I'm not making this today. That was my intention when I made this, was what can I make so that I'm prepared and I know what I'm doing for my Fun Friday. But this took a long time. I had a great time doing it. I was watching YouTube videos and I was in my zone, living my best life, and I loved it. But it would take me a long time to create this with you today. It would become very boring. So I'm going to put it to the side, and I've pulled out something else, and we're going to start from scratch because I'm not prepared, which is fun. And we are going to create a scrapbook layout together. Now, these are also old papers, and which I actually, these are Stampin' Up, and I did make some cards when I bought this a few years ago, but I literally bought it for scrapbooking. So you can see it's always in the back of my head when I'm, you know, I'm a card maker. You see all my stuff is cards, but literally always in the back of my head is, can I use that to make a scrapbook page? And this was called The World of Good. And I do believe I've got stamps and dies that go alongside it somewhere. And there was a Memories and More card pack. So I found the papers that are left. I found the cards that are left. And we're going to have a go. Wish me luck. I picked out a couple of photographs from the trip I was talking about. We went to Yosemite National Park, one of my favourite places in the world, which has some amazing memories for me. We managed to go on a couple of trips there many years ago before we had children, and I've always promised to take them there, and last year we did. And we were obviously walking around the trails and things like that, and we decided it would be fun to do a little challenge to wade into the Merced River on the bank there, because you can sit on the bank, it's stunningly beautiful, and wade in there and see who could stand in there for the longest. Now you can imagine how freezing cold it is, because this is snow melt off the mountain that had been, you know, a few hours ago had been snow, and you can tell by my husband's face how flipping painful it is to stand in the Merced. And they had a competition, like who can stand in there the longest, and Jacob, it didn't bother him at all. It was amazing. So that was the story behind those photos. And I thought I would try and scrapbook it with you guys today. So I've got a large piece, and I thought I would use this. This one it's just a map. And I've also got this side. And I thought I'd use this as my base layer. But I definitely think the colour tones will be better on this one. You can't see the whole of this in the shot, can you? Let me see if I can bring this up a bit. Oh, goodness, my tripod's really tight. You see all the rest of my rubbish around the shot, but that's okay, is it? Right. It's annoying because then you can see all of the base of the tripod, but not to worry, I'm also weighing it down with some punches. Okay, so that's a little better. You can kind of see a little bit better. Still can't see the top. There we go. So I've got my two pictures, and I think I'm going to use this as my base of my page. Okay. And then what I've got left of all of this is just all these scraps and strips and pieces. This was a great paper collection, but if you don't have this or anything like this and you want to make one the same, I would just get some neutrals, neutral cardstock or papers. Use what you have. Right, okay, so I've got to make a decision now how I'm going to start this and how my layout's going to go. So first of all, I am going to have these two together. And I might cut this one up. It's such a pretty photo with all of the stuff. See, I like the tall trees in this photo. This one might have been better printed as a 3x4 and popped it here. But do you know what? I think I'm going to mat them together like this. Right, that's where we're going. Because my problem with scrapbooking is procrastination. Right, now I have this piece, which is the other side of that, but I don't think it's big enough. It's almost big enough to mat on. But I think I'm going to mat it in white, which will make it pop a little. Let's have a look. So, I could mat it in white, but it's quite cold. Or I have the blue. Now, I wonder if this collection was out when Misty Moonlight was an in colour, because this looks a bit Misty Moonlight-esque, doesn't it? That really brings the blues out. I quite like that. In which case, have I got a sheet of Misty Moonlight? Well, I'll have a look at that. Yeah. I've got a sheet from the first time round. Right, let's have a look. Kind of brings out the blues in his shirt too. So I'm going to go with that for matting, and I'm going to just do what I used to do when I used to scrapbook. So no measuring here. So I got this glue. It's not my normal glue, but it's a temporary one, which I found somewhere. And it's good because you can place your items down on your page and just stick it, but then you can move it around if it's not where you want it to be. So I kind of like to start off like that, and then I'll go back, and anything that's not stuck very well, I'll put some permanent, I'll use some seal on it. And I'm going to put the glue in the middle of my photo so that if I decide I want to put anything behind it, I can tuck it in at the sides. Okay, so that's that. Now it's time to bring in the trimmer. So I'm thinking my title, that's going to be very tight. No, that's perfect. I'm thinking my title might be Snow Melt, but maybe if you have any other ideas, let me know. So I've eyeballed that, and I've left a tiny kind of edge that's a couple of millimeters, and then I can use the rest of the cardstock on the layer as well. And that's going to go in the middle. So this is the start of my layout like that. Okay. So next, I think I want something behind it. And I have this long piece here with all the worlds on it. And I'm wondering if I might pop that here. There. I might make it a bit skinnier, but it kind of works. And then I'm looking for something else. So all I'm doing is looking at all the scraps that I've got in my scraps and thinking about how I can use them or how I can layer things on my page. I've got this nice little block here. I quite like this back on there, but maybe a contrast is what I need. Right, I'm thinking about the blue. I've got some strips that I cut last time I've used this paper by the look of it. And I've got some yellow. I'm thinking maybe the blue will be better behind here though, and although it won't contrast with that, will it? It's on the back of the yellow one, that nice gold map. Oh, I've got a green piece. So this is not the type of video that you want to come along and say, right, how is she making this? These are the steps, X, Y, and Z, job done. This is a process that shows you how I end up with my page. Excuse me. Oh dear. Thank you, Shaz. It is great paper, isn't it? Did you ever get this paper? I've got a green piece. Now, I also didn't like this one very much. So I have 2 pieces left and there was only 2 pieces in it. But I do like this on the back. That's gold foiling. But it's very dark. That's nice, but it's kind of, I don't know, is it nautical? I don't know. Maybe that would work. You didn't get this one. It's kind of been in my stash waiting to be used up, all the pieces. Oh, that's nice. That brings out all the green. Brings out all of the green. So I'm thinking a strip of this, not too big. Let's get my ruler out. Did I get a ruler out? No, I have one. I have many, but I keep using them and putting them somewhere. Also, I didn't finish my class until late last night. So some of it is still, yeah, I have many rulers. Some of it is still packed away until I can get to it to undo it. Yeah, the final effect is very satisfying. It's lovely to have it. I have quite a few layouts next to me. Old ones, really old ones. I just dug out to have a look at. So if you're interested at all, I would be more than happy to show you them. They're really old. They're way before my Stampin' Up time. Some of them anyway, some of them are not. I'm trying to decide how big a strip I want. Just want enough to kind of fit behind. I think I'm going to go for about 6 centimeters. I can chop some off. It's not going to matter. It's also a great way to use up your designer series papers, guys, isn't it? Did I say 5 or 6? Let's go for 6. Hello, Carla. Thank you for joining us. Oh yeah, that's a nice size. So there's not too much of this green. Just a little bit going on there. In fact, I could have done with it being a bit bigger, I think. But we've got that there. We have that there. We are going to have a look. Bring some different papers in. I think that's too dark. We don't need the wilds again. This one, I love this yellow, but it's a bit short. Right. A bit that's got bent in there. That might work. Right, what have I got left? Yeah, I don't have any more. Oh, I do have a sheet of the yellow. I think, have I kept it? It's not. No, I haven't. I have to cut a piece off. Oh, and I've got some of these strips too. Here we go. So I've got one that's not bent in the middle. But that's not full length, but that doesn't matter. I like that. These are all the same size. No, they're not. Okay. And then we're going to go for a yellow piece. I'm going to cut it about, I don't want it the entire length of the page. I should be doing it in inches, not centimetres, shouldn't I? So I think I'm going to cut it 1 inch by 11. Because that makes sense to me, inches for scrapbooking, because all our pages are 12. I'm doing centimetres, inches, inches, inches. Oh, we already got it. So I must have cut an inch off the end of that before. That's good. Yes. So I'm going to pop this. I love this pop of yellow. I'm not sure if it should go there though. Maybe the green should go there. Yeah, I think the green should go there. So we've got greens, we've got neutrals, we've got blues. I'm not sure about the yellow now. If you hold it next to the photo, we have no yellow in the photo. I mean, it could be an accent colour, but it doesn't really work. So I'm going to put that with my strips. I've got this one, which kind of blends in, but would work. Got any more of this? This is a nice piece. Pop that on here. I might have another piece down here. I might have some more up here. I think this is where I'm going. Yeah. I might have another bit down here. Oh, actually, that bit. So, tell me, do any of you guys scrapbook? I would love to know. Do you scrapbook? Or have you scrapbooked? Oh, I have this piece. Oh my goodness, how beautiful is that? Wow! I don't think this would work because I think the blue would be too much, but it would have looked nice on there. But it kind of gives me, I've got some more blue. You haven't for many years, Sherry. Is it something you'd like to do again, or have you been there and done that? If you know what I mean by that. Oh, I'm going to have a big wodge of this one, I think. I'm going to go about 4 inches. good. Right, I'm going to take some off the end. You'd like to get back into it? Yeah, it is like that, isn't it? It is very fun. It's such a fun process. I've made that one about 10. I think I'm going to slot that in there. Like so. I'm going to put some embellishments down here so it's not going to be quite so blue in your face, if that makes sense. You know what? I think this is coming together, and all I've done is put some strips of paper together. So this may not be as convoluted as I thought, because now I'm going to get those cards. Have a look at what we've got. So Memories of More cards were actually, I believe, obviously originally designed for pocket page scrapbooking, and then obviously people took it and ran with them and made cards, and so now they're designed for both. Really cool. That's a nice one. Dare to live the life you've always wanted. That's a bit cheesy for me, but I like it. Life is meant for adventures. That's a nice one. These were great cards. What a wonderful world. Lots of these things would fit. Bucket list. Well, it's never too late in life to have an adventure. You make the world a better place. I'm just looking for things that might work on this page to embellish it. I've used this one to create a title by cutting out the blue so it would fit. I've got this layout somewhere. I might use this. Yeah, it takes a much longer time commitment. It's almost, I suppose, like if you have a wool project on the go, like I have a crochet blanket on the go that I pick up and I put down and I pick up and I put down. So it's kind of, it's not something that you're going to go sit down and make a card. 20 minutes later, it's done. It really is like, but it's nice to have the mindset of, okay, I'm planning to scrapbook that day out I had with sort of my kids or my husband or something. And then in the back of your mind, before you even get it all going, you can think, oh, what papers would work with that? And if your thought process is going along, then some of the work is done for you. Does that make sense? And then it's just planning, like this part obviously takes a lot longer than making a card. This is a good one. I've obviously cut it down already. Dream, discover, explore more. So yeah. But I think something that I don't do enough of, that's a good journaling card, is think about, so I'm in my craft room and I have the things that I need next to me or in a cupboard or somewhere like that. Yes, Sherry says she tries to plan 2 pages at the same time too, so you want to coordinate pages that face each other. Yeah, and then you get that cohesiveness of the pages that go in along. But also you could do a double page layout because that's always really fun as well. But what I need to actually do more of is kind of putting myself a little kit together, learning how to make a kit from what I've got in my stash, and then choosing the photos and the kit being for several pages. And then I've got a kit to go. Does that make sense? So that I don't feel like I have to pull everything out every time I want to make a scrapbook page, because I think that puts me off or puts people off. Because who has the time to start pulling everything out? And then by the time you've done that, you've got to put it all away again. And you can get overwhelmed by choice. So if you do have a lot of papers, like we all stash too much, don't we? Then it's really easy to get overwhelmed. So my challenge to myself is to make myself a multiple page kit. And then we've got all these little stickers that are super useful for ephemera. So dream, discover. Okay, so I've narrowed all of that down quite a lot. Yeah, so that's my challenge. And when I get all my new papers from the new catalogue, that's what I'm going to do. So life is meant for adventures. That would be a good one, but it's quite big. and it doesn't quite fit in. I'm not quite sure about it. I was planning to actually, because I would use that then as my title. I was planning to cut my title out, and I was probably going to put my title down here, so it brings it down the page. So maybe, I don't know. So I'm going to put that as a possible. That's a good little journaling card. Now, I do tend to like to put my journaling behind my photograph because it takes up less space on my page. And if I don't like my handwriting that day, it can get tucked away. I don't always do that. That one's a bit dark. Explore more. That's nice, but it's very black. But it does bring out his clothes. So that's possible. I think it's more possible than that one. Dream, discover, explore. That's a nice one. I'd have to trim that down slightly. That's a possible. I don't think I'm going to use What a Wonderful World. I don't think I need a big journaling card now. That's quite a nice piece just as a piece. I might keep that one. I'm going to keep that one. And then I've got the stickers. Right. So I was thinking about this going in here, but then I've got a lot of blue going on, so maybe not. No. Yeah, so I'm going to try and do that. And then if I can really get myself into making a kit that works, then obviously I will offer it up as a kit class if it's something people want. But that will be in a little bit of time. Because it needs to, that's quite dark as well, it needs to be good. I need to be very happy with it, clearly. All right, maybe I just put a little bit of paper up there, or maybe I just leave it as it is. But I have this now. I was hoping I'd have more like that, but I don't. I wonder where the stamps are. I don't know, but I'm not going to worry about them. I did do this on a previous layout with these papers where I took these memories. I had a couple of these memories and more cards that had this kind of world on it. That's like a compass. And I took my dies, I think they were layering circle or stitch circle, whatever they were at the time, because it was a long time ago, and I cut them out. Ooh. I got my stylish shapes. Ooh. You use whatever circles you have to make a shape. Yeah, so I'd want the largest one. I don't even know. Yeah, and I cut it out. So I might do that, but it would have been nice to have a couple of those. So I'm going to cut that out. This is going to be a simple layout, isn't it? So I've got my little cut and emboss machine ready. I don't know how I get glue on my base plate. I honestly no idea. I mean, I use it for classes, so lots of people are using it, but it's probably me. I'm the one that gets the glue everywhere. Right, I'm putting this in. It doesn't quite fit the circle of the shape, but it's pretty much there. There we go. So use everything. Use all your scraps. So that's all that's left of that. And I've got this kind of almost circle there. I can kind of have a nice little globe here, or I might pop it here like that. I was hoping to have a couple of those, but I don't. So I'm going to start sticking this down now so that I know where everything is, because I will forget. So let's move that. Move that. Turn this over. So guys, it's a bank holiday weekend. I hope people don't mind me using the term guys, because some people take offence at that, which I think is a bit weird, a bit odd, because, you know, it doesn't mean anything. Anyway, sorry about that. It's a bank holiday weekend. How cool is that? You have a 3-day weekend for those of you who are out at work normally, which is great. It's very weird in our house though, because everyone's doing GCSEs and exams and dissertation and all of these kinds of things. See, this temporary adhesive is brilliant because I don't think that's straight on there. So yeah, very much like card making. All we're doing is cutting bits of paper up and sticking them back together, guys. Yeah. So some of the demonstrators are currently in Norway on the incentive trip. Have you seen all about that? If you follow some of the other demos, you might see that they're away on the incentive trip, which is really awesome. I've been following along. So much fun to see what they're up to and the fun they're having. There we go. So all I'm doing is contrasting these ones. Oh, I know what I was going to do. I think this one was going to come further over. Let's have a look. There we go. This one. As I say, I'm going to come back to the layout later on and make sure everything's glued down really well. I've got a nice space up here. So Sherry, would you have another go at scrapbooking? I know Shaz is up for it. I think Shaz is up for it. Are you still with us, Shaz? Are you up for making a scrapbook page? I don't know whether to sit that behind or in front. Quite like the paper hanging over. Like that. Okay, we are good. And then we have all these things here. Now, what did I end up with deciding on? Dream, explore, discover. I think I'll go with that. Now, I do need to trim it because I've obviously trimmed it down thinking I was going to use it on a card front, and I didn't. Oh, Sherry, I'm so pleased. Oh, I hope you do. That'll be so good. It's like a mussel. So when I made this one, I have to be careful here because the M hangs over. When I made the one with all the hearts on earlier in the week, all the kind of memories were coming back of all the I'm not sure if this is going to work, of all the scrapbook pages I made and how I made it. So I think it'll all come back to you. Unless I just cut it off that side, because I've managed to cut a little bit of that D off. Would it really matter? No, it doesn't. So that makes it more even. So I can Exactly. You have lots of DSP to use up. Exactly. And isn't it a great way to use it? I think I'm going to tuck it behind rather than put it over the top. I think it kind of, what do you think? On the top or underneath? I don't know. No, on the top. I'll bet you have tons of great pictures. I have thousands on my phone. Guys, thousands. And you know, I take them for a reason. But they're on my phone. Yeah, thank you. I agree. I ended up with on top as well. I agree. You know what? We are in the world these days of instant photographs and social media and reels and stories and, you know, all these apps and everything else. But, you know, what about physically being able to go back to a scrapbook album or a photo album from a few years ago and being able to look at the photos back? What about that? I mean, our kids love doing that, don't they? And they love seeing generations past and what we did as children and all of that kind of stuff. How can we do that with just, you know, photos on the camera or the phone or the social media? It's not the same, is it? So definitely a place for us preserving our memories like this. So this one's going to go in here, I think. I'm still not sure. It's very blue. I might change that up. I need a little journaling spot because I want to write about it. That kind of coordinates, but we'll see. I haven't made up my mind. And then I'm going to put my title down here. Now, I've got some letter dies out, but then I need to decide what colour to do the letters in. I've got travel here. I've got some little worlds. Discover. I don't need our journey. Yeah, so I need to decide what colour to do the letters in. So I've got travel. I'm definitely going to put the travel in. And I think I'm going to put it down here. Like that. I've got this big long white strip of these, which is really cute. Don't think I've got any white in it. Thank you, Sherry. Isn't it though? Isn't that what we do? We take a few scraps of paper and we cut them up and we put them back together and we get something completely different. I love it. We do it with our cards as well, don't we? Oh, I ripped the end. Oh, no, I haven't. That's the backing. So I'm liking that. I might cut it up. So if you have one embellishment that's one on its own and you want it in a few places, you can, you want to tuck it somewhere, you can cut it up and make it more. So I've got one there. And then this little piece I'm going to pop at the top here. Makes it look like you've got a long strip. It's kind of cheating. And then I'm going to put the title in here, so I'll hang on to this one. So what colour should our title be? I don't know, it should be green. Oh, my sun's just gone in. I'm going to have to put the light on. I didn't realise I didn't have my light on. But the sun was so bright through the window. Just moving some things out of the way so that I can look at my papers again for the title. So we decided we didn't want yellow in it. We've still got plenty of green. But I want to put it down here, and it might well get lost in here, mightn't it? Could be that blue, but that might get lost as well. I might have a solution. This is really sweet. And I've just got, I've got a whole sheet. Have I got a whole sheet of this? Yeah, it's not a whole sheet, but it will make a whole background. So I feel happy that I can cut this one up. So let's see how big my title is. And then I might excuse me, put a section under here or something like this and put the title on top. Like that. It's me leafing through all the papers. Got this one, which would actually tie in here nicely, wouldn't it? Yes, I've actually got another big piece of that left, which is the back of that. Right, I'm going to try and cut my letters out of this because I think that'll tie all of these things together. Perfect. Right, let's have a look at my letter dies. Now I pulled out these ones. These are the Alphabet a la mode dies. These are current. They're the nice new skinny ones that we got when the mini catalogue last year. Love these. So I might go with that. I've got the ones that are before that as well, which were the Playful Alphabet. And I've also got the large letters. Do you remember these? They retired years ago, but everybody loved them. And we'd had them in the catalogue for so many years that they decided it was time for some new things. I don't know whether to put Merced or Snowfall. I might put Snowfall because it's more about the story. And obviously the who, what, where and when will be in my journaling. I think this might be a bit big for a title. Don't know. Shall we go for it? F L A. I need some magnetic sheet on this set because I've now migrated around. I wish they'd bring these large letter dies back because I think a lot of people, I lend these out to, I've got a couple of good friends who like to scrapbook and I lend these out to them sometimes. Only close friends because I don't want to lose my dies. But I think they would be very popular. Oh, it's not Snowfall, is it? What am I talking about? It's Snowmelt. E. Need the L. I've got the M, E, L, and I need the T, which is good because it means I don't have to do multiple passes through the Stampin' Up machine, the cutting machine. Although I do because I've got the little one out on the desk. Right, that's fine. Let's do that and see how we get on. What do you think so far, guys? I know most of my viewers are interested in cards. So it'd be interesting to see if anybody likes the idea of the odd scrapbook page coming in. Or it may be that I do still carry on with my lives as usual, do my cards, and then I do an extra one just for scrapbooking. Might work. Right, okay, I am going to cut some of these lettered dies out using the mini boss. can hear it crunching. It's meant to make that noise, do not worry. I'm definitely going to be going over the hour, so I think what I'll do is I'll do what I can in the hour, and then I will show you on my Instagram and Facebook any extra bits that I managed to add on. Because otherwise the video gets way too long. Right. Oops. Cut that too short. Let's carry on. So we've got S, O, N. Yeah, I cut it slightly too short. W. Here we go. The other thing I could do, which I like watching, I don't know about you, is I like watching scrapbooking videos where they make the scrapbook page and then they, I don't know if they speed it up a bit, and then they, not too much, and then they talk, this is really hard, and then they talk over the top of it. So they do the audio afterwards. So you don't kind of, it doesn't feel so long. So if there's any procrastination over choosing your papers or anything like that, me choosing my papers, I mean, you don't really witness that kind of like painful process. How big are these? I think they're 2 inch. No, they are 2.5 inches tall. So now I've cut it just over 2.5 inches tall. I can fit them along. Why didn't I do that? So I've got all of that. I think it's just these, is it? Oh, thank you, Sherry. I'm glad. It's so difficult to know. It's very much a process today, though. I think I would have probably more of a plan. Yeah, it's definitely keeping it real, Shaz. Thank you. Oh, I would definitely have a bit more of a structured plan if I was going to do it regularly. So E-L-T. Thank you. That's really kind of you to say that. Okay, so we've got this on here. My poor husband's face, but he was laughing, I promise. Oh, we had such a good time. And you know what? We kind of relive it through photographs, don't we? It doesn't have to be a fancy holiday that you scrapbook, though. The everyday life is so important because that's the real stuff, isn't it? Oh, that's not a W, that's the W. But this is rather a large title. Did I do the E? Did I even pick an E out? I've got 2 L's. Oh, no, I haven't got an E. Stupid woman. Ah. Snow melt. Right, I've got all the letters now. Now. Do I put it underneath? I'd like to have it on top of the card, on top of the photo, but I feel that it might not sit very well, but I don't know. I also feel it's getting a bit lost down there. How about snow melt? Yeah, that might work. Yeah. I'm thinking like that. Do I bring these over the top here? Or is that a bit weird? This is what I mean about the procrastination process. I think if you have one on top, you have to have them both. So what I might do, I stuck that one down with dimensionals, didn't I? That are a little bit forgiving is, move this as well. I'm not worried about this. This bit's going to go underneath. Let's bring it up a bit. So there's a reason for it. So that these don't hang off the bottom. They were hanging off the bottom of the blue bit. And yeah. That wasn't straight and it was annoying me. Bring that down a little bit more. Hang that off there. I think I've got it. By golly, we've got it. That's where I want it to be. So it hangs off all of the different bits. This one can come up here. And this one. Just slightly longer there. Okay, we're good. I'm happy now. So let's make sure this is stuck down. This journaling card now slides easier as well. Let's put that up here. So it's just a matter of moving things. Oh, you like them over the photos, Shaz? Let's have a look. I think I've pulled it all together a bit better though now. So it kind of is a bit more cohesive. It needs to be grounded. So I'm going to ground it on the bottom of the green strip. I don't know what's in shot because this, I'm not used to scrapbooking such a working on such a large area. With a card, it's so much smaller. So I have to organise getting this shot right. But there. Yeah, I think you're right. Oh, I think we did it. Between us, guys, we did it. Hooray. I'm liking this. All right, I'm going to use I'm going to go temporary adhesive again. Hello. No, that kind of disappears. Because I'm going to come back to the layer later on and I'm going to stick it all down properly. Because what you don't want is all this time you've spent on a scrapbook page and then come back in a couple of days and it's all fallen off. Or a couple of years. Would you like to see some old scrapbook layouts I've made at the end? They are very old. Ooh. That dimensional I pulled off has come back to haunt me. Yay, thank you. It's going over the top and it looks better. Yeah, honestly, I learned it from someone else many years ago and I just had to get some more because obviously I haven't used it in years. And then I'm going to go back in with my seal when I've got everything right. Okay, cool. Thanks, Shaz. I will, because I love old layouts. As I say, some of it's pre-Stampin' Up, but, you know, it's all old stuff. It doesn't matter. I'm happy to share it. I'm no great, amazing scrapbook or anything, but I'll show you what I made. So obviously you can see they're not very well stuck down, but I'll come back and do that. So I'm quite happy with where we're at. This one, I think I'm going to make it into a tag. So I'm probably going to use a tag die to cut the edges off here. Put a hole in the top and then a ribbon so you can actually tell what it is instead of it just looking like it's another piece of card. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to write in there, and I'm going to write on dark, or I might put a piece of white on top and write on that. That's nearly finished. Obviously I need to go back with some little nice pieces to pretty it up. I've got some of these little globes. I just know where I'm going to put all of these. And I'll probably come back and play around. See, I don't really want the blue next to the blue there. That's why I'm mucking about with it. But yeah, I'll probably come back and play around later with all of this kind of stuff. So I've got one there. I'm going to match it down here. So they've got my kind of leading the eye to the, we read our pages from left to right. So we're kind of, our eyes and our brains are trained to bring yourself down to read the story. So I'm trying to bring it to follow through like that, if that makes any sense. I don't know. So let's bring that one into there. Or maybe not, maybe stuck now. Maybe it needs to be further down. There. Yeah, so I will come and embellish it a bit more. I don't think any of these bits need to go on there. But I'll come and put some more kind of, I'll find some, what would you call it? I'll put some little gems on it and scatter them in all the different areas. And completely finish it off, and I'll pop it up on my Instagram. So I'll finish that off, but that's generally the basis of my layout. I will try and come up a bit more so you can see it. Can you see the whole thing? There we go. I mean, you can see all the junk on my desk as well, but that's just what I'm using. Yeah, so I just use a few scraps of a coordinated pack of papers. So you know that your papers are going to all blend together if you use it from the same collection. So obviously I've ordered some papers, and when they come I'll do another scrapbook page so you can see some current products. I'll tell you what I have ordered that I think might be interesting to use as scrapbook. I've ordered it for card making, but I think it will be interesting to use as well. These beautiful papers here, hold on, these ones, the Masterfully Made collection. It goes with, what does it go with? Doesn't tell you what page it's on. What was that? Oh, that's the die. See that there's a world map stamp. That would be great. Just looking for it. Here it is. How beautiful is this? So I bought it for card making, and they're really stunning papers, but I think, and I've ordered the dies and the stamps, and I love this die because it looks like a notebook edge, so you could definitely make a journaling spot with that as well. And you can use these stamps and dies on the scrapbook page and this big die here. So I'm really looking forward to making cards and scrapbook pages with that. So watch out for that. Anyway, I will show you those pages now that I was talking about, but before I do that, it's been a long one. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you joined me live, you're absolutely amazing. I really appreciate it. Hope you've enjoyed seeing something a little bit different today in the form of a scrapbook page. I have loved it. I really hope you did too. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. That really helps my channel so much. and subscribe if you liked it, and click the little bell button down below for notifications of when I go live or post up future videos too. If you're interested in any of the products that I use in my videos, they are available in my online shop at katebolt.stampinup.net. And if you shop with me, I will send you a thank you gift and a handmade card. So join my little community, it's fun. I'm going to grab some of these scrapbook pages that I've made in years gone by. There's just a few that I kind of like pulled out of the cupboard this morning for inspiration. So here we go. Here's the sweet boy one that I made earlier in the week. It's still a bit low. You still can't see the whole page, can you? Sweet boy. So there's that one. Does it go up any higher? Yeah. Tell me how that is. Oh, Amanda, thank you, my love. Don't worry, I'll be back to card making on Tuesday and next Friday. But thank you so much for joining me and putting up with my talking about scrapbooking. Thank you so much. So this is the one of Johnny, my middle son, that I made earlier in the week using those papers and an old heart punch. Those are the papers that I used. I wondered why that was heavy. This was one when we had the Whale of a Time papers. I used the alphabet dies we had at the time, Playful Alphabet, I think, and these were the stamps that came with the Whale of a Time papers. This is all Stampin' Up products, the little fish stamps and all the different sort of ephemera. And this was a holiday we had in Spain. That's me and my other son. This was a Stampin' Up convention in Florida when they did it at in Florida. Some friends and I went and took some days out and went to Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom and Walt Disney World, of course, because, you know, honestly, Stampin' Up and Walt Disney World, you couldn't ask for anything better. I'm a complete Disney addict, as you might find out in these layouts. That's my lovely friend Liddy, and we went to Tuska's at Animal Kingdom for a meal. And I'm pretty sure I've done this wrong. I'm pretty sure it was dinner. So I need to go back and change it. And I used, these are all Stampin' Up dies and Stampin' Up papers. This one is old papers. They are Stampin' Up. This was from one of those collections that we had. And this was a day out in Brighton when my daughter had just graduated and she studied at Sussex. And this was an old Stampin' Up die as well. That's an old scrapbook challenge I did years ago that I never did. And that one. So I need to go back to those. I made this one in January this year using those, the daisy papers, the back of it. I wasn't that happy with the layout, so I never kind of showed it. But yeah, I feel like it's kind of lopsided. It's not quite balanced. So I need to go back in and think. But I've done my usual trick of popping a tag there with all the kind of journaling behind. I printed on my photo, and this is all Stampin' Up stuff. This was the By the Bay suite that we had. Yeah, so that's that. That's another old challenge that I didn't do. This was when Stampin' Up were doing Memories of More 12 by 12. Now we definitely do it in 6 by 8 albums and 6 by 8 protectors, but we don't do the 12 by 12 anymore. And these are old Project Life cards. But these are all Stampin' Up stamps, and this is from a 2015 album. So I've got various pages that I made. I made a Mickey Mouse at the Starbucks of our 2015 Walt Disney World trip. And they're not in an album, sadly. I need to get an album for it. So these are old kind of Memory and More cards from various collections that I've collected over the years. This is a Stampin' Up paper that I made into like a Memory and More card. Yeah, these need to be finished. So this is why they're not in an album and they're all kind of just here. This is the same. And you can see I've tried to kind of decide that I'm going to put different things. This is going to be a hat page, surely. Oh, more of the same. So this is, I do believe this is the same 2015 trip. I think I must have taken them out of an album because the album wasn't finished and I need to make it its own album. So I did my journaling on a piece of photo paper. I love it. It's really quick scrapbooking. It's really good. That's when we went to the sci-fi dine-in, 1950s drive-in. It was so much fun. Oh, I love it. And they're so fun there. So you sit in a car, but it's not really a car, look, because have your meal. And they do these amazing milkshakes. And then on your receipt, they give you a speeding ticket, which is not real, obviously, but it's funny. Yeah, and that was when we were leaving. You can see that the papers, this is a proper layout now. This is the papers we use today. So I've used exactly the same papers in a different way. Some of the stickers again, and so the adventure begins. And that was us on our way to the airport for our 2018 trip, going to guess where? Walt Disney World. This was a stamp. Good things are worth waiting for Stampin' Up. So this is all Stampin' Up. And these were the, I think the hand-lettered, not hand-lettered prose. I think so. There were some alphabet dies. So yeah, and this was the story. Some old papers I had, and we went, you can see how tiny Jacob was in this photo. This is many years ago, and we went to this soda shop in Disney and had ice cream. And here's my story. The Beach Club at Walt Disney World, Florida, 2011, and we asked for the kitchen sink, and as you can imagine, they put, it's outrageous. This ice cream is outrageous. They put like so many flavors in and toppings and all of this stuff, and there were 5 of us. Bearing in mind the children were relatively small. Jacob was little, the others were not so little, but there's no way we even put a dent in this ice cream. And it was such a memory. And it's all bells and whistles, and the whole restaurant like lights up when somebody orders this massive thing. It's just hilarious. Chip and Dale. Chip and Dale. So, oh, no, this is not. I was reading Chip. This is Chip the Cup. So that's one of those magical photos that the photo people take in Disney World. And these are old papers. I don't even know where they came from, but they're obviously in my stash from many years ago. And this trip was 2012. This is the same 2012 trip when we went to Blizzard Beach. And I just love the colours in this because Goofy was I remember what happened here. I was bringing Jacob back from a water slide. He'd fallen over and grazed his knee, and I was carrying him and he was crying, and I was trying to placate him, and we saw Goofy along the way, and he stopped and gave him a high five, and look, everything was mended. We had so much fun that day, and this is what it's all about. I've even written it there. He scraped his knee and there were lots of tears. Oh, tears all gone. See, that's what scrapbooking does. It keeps the memories for you. That's just my husband and my 2 boys when they were smaller, Epcot 2012. Jacob looking weeny tiny outside the front of Animal Kingdom. And it's just a nice photograph. This is the Chippendale one I was thinking of. These 2 guys are just hilarious. And he was showing his muscles with John. Oh, look. Jacob did the Jedi Training Academy at Disney's Hollywood Studios, and you actually get to fight Darth Vader. There's another side. This is a double page spread, and somewhere there's one with him with his lightsaber fighting Darth Vader. It's super cool. This is a little bit longer. This is a bit more recent. These are Stampin' Up papers. Do you remember these Pick-a-Punch ones? Yeah, and I thought the colours really matched. And this was our bee die that has the honeycomb in it. So yeah, and I'd obviously cut out some of the DSP. There's the other half of that layout where we all met Winnie the Pooh. This was my great nephew's birthday party, and this was the Time for Tea suite. So we can definitely use all our lovely Stampin' Up stuff. This is a layout I made many years ago, and it was a challenge one that I did in a scrapbook store back in the day when we had scrapbook store, and they gave you a kit, and you can see how my kind of abilities have changed a little bit because obviously this just blends into the background. I've used the same cardstock. I should have picked out a different color. I love the layout. I will keep it. And I was thinking maybe I was tempted to change this title to a different colour. And I thought, well, no, it actually shows how my scrapbooking journey has come on and changed a little bit. But this is actually a photo of my daughter's great-great-grandmother, Elizabeth Ann Rogers, in Victorian times. So that's my great-grandmother. Yes, that's my grandma's mum. This is one, I made this quite recently with the Fitting Florets papers. Do you remember when we had that very recently? These are gorgeous, and the dies cut the papers out so beautiful. It was just a lovely photo of me and my daughter mucking about having selfies in a bathroom. And I just love the colours, and the Fitting Florets was so it was a particular trip, so I've journaled it. But the papers were so pretty. I thought it just all matched the colour theme. So I was pleased with that one. This is when we went to Wadston Winter Light Show a couple of years ago, and I've put the date down the side. I've used some vellum in this one. And there's another one of the same trip, Winter at Wadston. These are all Stampin' Up papers. There's some white cardstock you don't need to know about. This one is using the Love You More Than dies and stamp set. We went to London on a trip out near Christmas, and we were looking around the shops, and we went to a show with the whole family. We all went out for a Christmassy day out in London. And yeah, we went to E.L.N., which is really pretty and a very pink restaurant with all these pink flowers. So I used the artistically inked papers, and these dies are still current to create that one. This is my son, Ohana, on our last Disney trip last summer. So as you know, as you can see, a lot of these are very old layouts, and I have been sporadically scrapbooking in between. This is from, I'm not sure if this is current or in the mini, the Autumn Winter mini. These were all Memories and More cards, and I liked all the colours, and I just put them all in together. I wrote Ohana with the dice that we had, and I just wrote, and this was a mask that we had, and I just did some ink blending using, I think was it Bermuda Bay? Oh no, Tahitian Tide ink, which I thought kind of blended with this and his shirt. So that was all of that. And then the one we've done today. So I have got a few other albums, but they're a lot of old layouts that I just thought you might want me to share with you. So I think the thing to take away is just use what you have and have fun with it. I hope you've enjoyed it today. It's been a long one. I will see you on Tuesday for coffee and cards with a card for you. Take care. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you. See you next time. Bye-bye.